Hello, and thank you for watching another edition of Redbeard Shaves. I've had a few of you ask about how I go about making my lather. So today I'm just going to do a quick, well, not so quick, lathering video. So the first thing I'm doing or looking at is to make sure that I have enough time, because I actually take quite a few minutes to create my lather. It's something that I really enjoy. It's one of my most favorite parts of the shave is the lather itself. So I want to build a nice thick creamy lather that I'm going to enjoy from start to finish. So I have my bowl here, and it's a pretty basic bowl. I actually went to a pottery shop and painted it myself, and then I used puff paint on the bottom to give it a little bit of texture. I always soak my brush in my Old Spice shaving mug. Now, I use natural hair most of the time, and that's what I'm using today. I'm using my Lutin brush. And whenever I'm soaking this, I put warm water in it, and I dip it in just enough to submerge about 60% of the knot itself. Because with natural hair, it's going to wick up the moisture all the way up. So you don't have to completely submerge it. If I was to use a synthetic brush, I'd fill it a little bit fuller. Even though you don't need to soak it, it's just my routine. So I always soak even the synthetic brushes in the cup while I'm showering. So I leave a good soak time, 10 to 15 minutes. By the time I start it up, get in the shower, take my shower, jump out, dry off, and kind of get all my setup ready. I also soak my puck. I always do this and I always fill it to the brim so I have extra water in there soaking. And then what I end up doing is I wring out the knot of my brush, just kind of shake it out just like I did there. And then I dump the remaining water into my sink full of water that I'll be shaving with. And then I take that soaking water and I pour it into the mug. I dip the brush right back into it to absorb some of that soapy, soaked water goodness. And whatever water I don't use in prepping my lather, this is what I typically use for my pre-shave. Even if I'm using the cube or some other type of pre-shave, if I'm wetting the head, I'll use a little bit of this goodness because it just adds a little bit of extra slickness. So I'll soak it in there, and then I just kind of squeeze out where I'm damp but not dripping wet. And I grab my puck, and I just start loading this directly into the puck, just like so. And I will turn one way, and then I'll turn it the other way, and I just start loading these bristles with as much soap as I can get in there. I'm going to make a mess here. I like to load heavy, so it's not uncommon for me to work off of the puck for even a minute and a half to load these bristles. I use a fair amount of soap whenever I'm shaving, because I just like to have lots of lather. I have even lather left over. I'm fortunate enough that I have enough soap in my den that I don't have to be very frugal with it. And as you can see, I've got froth and goodness building up all over my hand, especially with these WSP containers. They're a little bit smaller, but this isn't a clean process for me. I just load up lots of soap, and I save all of this froth right into the bowl. So as it pops off, I just let it land into the bowl. The reason why I lather in both directions is if I'm going in one direction constantly, I'll get what's called donutting. And donutting is where the middle of the knot, all the hairs will kind of swirl and create a cavity within the knot. And I don't really like that, because then you have to comb it out when you're done. So I just go both directions to try to keep those fibers loose and keep from tying up on each other. You can have donutting happen with natural hair and synthetic hair, or hybrids for that fact. And I'm just going to get a little bit longer here. Good amount of lather built up. And as I'm loading off the puck, I'm already actually building some of that lather. So you can see here, I've got all this froth, wonderful soap. I put all of this directly into the bowl, save as much of it as I can, because I will use this to create my lather. And then I just use a little bit of water, rinse off my hands, and then I'll rinse off the puck at this time. I just do a good little rinse, and then I'll leave this upside down in the sink and let it air dry a little while I'm building my lather. You can see there's what I got extra in the bowl. I have a good loaded knot right here. And then I'm just going to start working this in. Go in both directions, up and down, around. And I just let it build up on the sides. I don't even start working that lather in yet. And then about the time, right now, I see it's a little bit caked on the bottom, looking a little bit dry right there. That cues me in that I need more water. So I just take a little bit of that soaking water and I put just a small amount inside the bowl, just enough to get this heavily loaded knot, and I start working that in so some more of that soap can moisten up and loosen up and release into the bowl. I just take my time. This is what if I'm making a video, this is the time that I will think about exactly what I'm going to go over and talk about. If I'm just doing a shave just for me, I might think about the shave. I might think about anything that's going on in my life. This is just the time for me, so I'm not in a rush. I'm going to add just a little bit more water. So those of you that have watched my videos before, you know that I always bowl lather, but then I do kind of a cross. I also head lather my head on my first and second pass, and then I pull whatever lather I have left and put that on to frost the top. So I keep the brush pretty packed with soap, so I have enough soap left in the bristles to do a good pass on my head without having to dip into the bowl. I'm just still working that. You can see it's building up on the sides. And just releasing more of that soap from the bristles into the bowl. Now there's a point where I've been pulling off of the brush and I'm working it up, and you can see inside that I'm getting hydrated soap into the middle. And that's when I'm going to start now moving over my lather and working my lather that I've built up on the sides. So I just start moving that in and working the lather that I have created. Getting as many of the air bubbles out as I can. You just keep squashing it down and working it around. Adding little bits of water as you go. This is where playing with your soap and learning about good hydration comes in. I'm going to add just a little bit more water. I've gotten pretty comfortable where I just pour. If you're not comfortable pouring, then just dip your fingers in and get a couple of drops at a time and just add just a few drops at a time. Work in that lather. Add a few more drops if you need more hydration. Because water equals slickness. And the more hydrated your soap is, the better results you're going to get for primary and secondary slickness. But you can also still create super thick and rich lather in the process. And that's then going to provide your cushioning. So just working it around, still working in all directions. The soap I'm using today is WSP's Rustic formula, so this is their vegan formula. But I do the same process whether it's a tallow soap or a vegan soap. I start looking, so there I've got nice peak building up, but it's still a little bit soft. It's not quite a firm peak yet. So I just keep working this lather. Getting as much of the air out as possible. Spinning it around. Man, I'm building such a great bowl of lather here. I kind of wish I was shaving, but I've already shaved today. And I just work it. Look for that sheen to pop up. That lets me know I have enough hydration. And then I just keep pushing as much of those little tiny micro air bubbles out as I can. You never get rid of all of them, but you can get rid of a lot. And then I'll take another scoop here. And there's a nice, pretty nice peak. And I've got nice stiff peaks that have built up in the bowl. Work it just a little bit more. And then I'm all ready. I'm ready for my shave. So I'll just demonstrate on my hand. I'm just going to wet my hand now as if I would on a pre-shave. Just have it kind of wet. And I just start working that in. I'll even work down here a little bit because I have plenty of lather. And this is where I'm a little bit different. I mean, you can consider this as being a direct brush to skin lathering, even though I've already built up a huge lather within the bowl. But that's part of why I load these brushes so heavy. Once I've worked that lather in and get it to the thickness and amount and consistency that I want, I just smooth it out and brush it on. Super thick lather there. Excellent. Look how much that built up. Really good. Great peak formed there. And I have plenty here for a second pass. If you're a 3-pass shaver, you have a lot there for third pass. It's nice and slick. You can feel that on your fingertips there. And then also when rinsing it off, we'll tell you where you're at with your residual slickness. when you have no lather left and you just add a little bit of water with how slick it's going to be versus the rest of your skin. So this is part of what I do, especially when I'm testing a new lather out as well. Then for my second run, still a little bit of water on there. My second pass may not be as thick. Today it will be because I have lots of soap. And there I have enough for my second pass. And as you can see, there's still plenty of soap there. Lots of soap. And I like lots of lather. See nice, wonderful peaks. Almost all those air bubbles are worked out. Looks really nice. Has a good sheen to it. Super slick. And then when I'm going to frost the top, I have this bowl here full of lather. And sometimes if I load a little lighter, then I will dip in here from the brush. But you can see, have just wonderful, super dense, wonderfully peaked shaving cream here that I created into the bowl. And this really is, for me, this part of the shave is where the luxury comes in. You have a good brush that you enjoy using and a nice razor. Kind of seals the deal. One missing hair there. But really the luxury of it comes from the lather. So that is how I make my lather each day. And I don't typically put this on camera because it does take me some extra time to build my lather. I don't rush it. I don't try to see how fast I can get the lather made. I just make my lather and enjoy the process of making it. So that's why you guys don't see me add it onto my videos much, if at all, because it just takes me a while, and my videos would be 45 minutes probably if I was to go start to finish from lather to shave to post shave. I hope this helps you guys out. This is the process that I've kind of fine-tuned over the time that I've been shaving, and it really works for me. I really enjoy it. If there's another artisan out there you'd like to see me lather up, maybe there's an artisan you're just having a hard time dialing in the soap, put it in the comments. If I have it, I'll lather it up and show you a demo of it. So, hope you enjoyed watching this video. Have great shaves, and I'll be seeing you soon. This is Redbeard out. Take care.